friends, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. In today's episode of my Thanksgiving Sides and Sweets series, we are making a green bean and pea casserole. So your classic American green bean casserole would have been, if I remember correctly, a can of Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, 2 cans probably of canned green beans, and you mix the whole thing together, slop it in a pan, and then cover the whole thing with Funyuns. Bake that off, you have a casserole. This is a classic American Thanksgiving side, and we never had it when I was growing up. And then I went to cooking school in Ireland. I went to Ballymaloe, which if you know, you know. We had already learned how to do a cream-based mushroom sauce, and so they just that's what they used for this, and then they fried their own shallots. And I tasted it and my mind was blown. And from then on, I have been making my own green bean casserole. And there is a secret ingredient in here, and it is green peas. Hold your shock, wait till the end. We're gonna go through it, I promise. I will say the original version of this casserole with all the canned goods and stuff is really fast and easy, and this is not as fast and easy. There are some moving parts to this that all have to come together in the end. But each individual element is not hard. I'm not trying to deter you here. I'm just trying to let you know. Anyways, I'm so excited for today's video, so let's just get started. Mushroom sauce. Begin by thinly slicing 300 grams of mushrooms. These were really large, so I cut them in half before slicing them just to make my life easier. You want to slice them as thin as you can. Next, grate 200 grams of mushrooms using the large hole side of a box grater. Don't worry about grating perfectly or having any chunkies left over. This is all just going to get blended later. After the mushrooms, dice 170 grams of onions. For me, this was 3 smallish onions, and you do want to dice them pretty small, but this is also going to get blended, so it doesn't matter so much. Then take some parsley and pick the leaves off the stems. I just picked a large handful of leaves. I probably could have used the whole bunch, but I wasn't feeling it, so a large handful it was. Chop as finely as you have patience for, then set to the side. I have my station set up here for frying off the mushrooms for the sauce. Now, these will eventually get folded into the sauce, but they're not gonna make the sauce themselves. We're gonna fry them off individually so they get nice and crispy and perfectly cooked, and then fold them into the sauce later. So to cook these, I have a little station set up. Obviously, I have a frying pan. This can be a normal frying pan. I have my cast iron here just because I love it. A little bit of oil, butter. You're gonna want about 60 grams. You might need a little bit more depending on how heavy-handed you are when frying. Some lemon and some salt. You want this to be over medium-high heat. You want these to cook fairly quickly. Tablespoon, half a tablespoon-ish. Oh, that pan was not ready. And a little bit of oil. Okay, maybe kind of a lot of it. You want your mushrooms in a thin, even layer. You don't want them to be too clumpy. I'm not gonna do more than that. A little salt. Wow, I love how uneven this induction is. That's super fun. Good enough? A little bit of lemon juice. It's gonna take you probably 3 to 4 rounds to fry all of these off. I probably could have been a little less heavy-handed and done this in 4 rounds, and that would have been a little bit better. Set those mushrooms to the side for a second. All of the rest of the butter. All your onions. Salt. And we want these to cook low and slow until they're translucent. Throw in the grated mushrooms and let cook until they have lost most of their water and are starting to brown. Pour 500 grams of cream directly into the pan and let simmer. Stir occasionally as the mushrooms sometimes like to stick on the bottom of the pan. After about 5 minutes, you'll see the cream reduce and thicken a bit. Taste and add salt and lemon juice as needed. Carefully pour into a bowl and then blend until smooth. I'm using my hand blender because I don't trust my regular blender with hot things, but you can use whichever one you prefer. We want the sauce to be as smooth as possible. Throw in all of the fried mushrooms and chopped parsley and stir. Taste one more time and adjust the seasoning if you need to. Use immediately or refrigerate. Fried shallots. Begin by peeling the shallots. I like to use banana shallots because they're larger and easier to peel. Cut into thin rings. They should be no thicker than 1/16 of an inch or 1.5 millimeters. Pour the shallots into a frying pan filled with cold oil. There should be enough oil that the shallots float. Heat slowly over low heat. This process is simple but does require some babysitting and can take a while. As the oil heats up, I like to separate the rings. They will start to naturally separate as they get hotter, so don't worry if they're kind of stuck together in the beginning. The key to fried shallots is taking them out at just the right time. If they're too light in color, they will still have water in them and can be chewy in like a weird way. Take them out too dark though, and they taste bitter and burned. They continue cooking a bit after they're taken out of the oil. This was my first attempt of the day, and I thought they were perfectly golden brown in the oil, but by the time I got them all out and they sat on the plate, they had gotten way too dark and were burned. To say I was disappointed would be an understatement. The second time I took them off much lighter and strained the oil off right away. Working quickly, the rings get dumped onto a paper towel lined plate and separated. Sprinkle with a bit of salt and don't forget to reserve the shallot oil for later. Breadcrumb topping. Start by throwing 200 grams of dried bread cubes into a food processor. I'm using bread cubes I made from plain white bread. Blitz until fairly fine. Place the bread cubes into a bowl, then add 1 tablespoon garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper, and a tablespoon of chopped parsley. Then add some shallot oil. I started with 4 tablespoons. Mix that together. I added another 2 tablespoons of oil for 6 total. The amount of oil will vary depending on your breadcrumbs. You want a mixture that is sandy but not wet. Set that to the side. Green beans and assembly. For the green beans, I like to use frozen green beans. I would love to use fresh green beans, but the ones that I have always gotten here in Sweden in the grocery store, like, they're not super great. And for all the work you go through to top and tail them, I think they're a subpar product, whereas like these green beans are always great. They're less work, they're super easy, and they're still super delicious. But if you have access to really good fresh green beans, cool. I love that for you. I wish that was me. Go ahead and use fresh ones. It's the same process anyways. Heavily salt a large pot full of boiling water. Add in all of your green beans and cook to your preferred doneness level. I like an al dente bean myself. Take off the heat, strain, and immediately throw into an ice bath to stop the cooking process. Once cold, strain again and remove the excess water. I like to do this by pressing out the water with a clean kitchen towel. Place in a large bowl. All right, boys and girls, now this is where things get really controversial. To my green bean casserole, I like to add green peas. Now, this is not an American thing. I have never really seen this done before. I'm sure other people have done this before, but I just came up with this by myself because when I was buying fresh green beans for Thanksgiving dinner, they were so expensive and I was trying to feed like 18, 20 people, and I was like, why don't I just buy some green peas that are delicious? I love frozen green peas. Throw them in with the green beans, bulk it up. It's gonna be delicious, and I'm gonna be able to stretch my dollar a little bit, or in this case, stretch my crown. Turns out they are best friends. It works super well. Now, if you don't wanna do this, I totally understand. You don't have to. This is 500 grams of green beans and 250 grams of green peas. You could just do 750 grams of green beans and that's it. But I love peas and I think they're delicious. I actually think this would be really fun to do this casserole, but like with just green peas. What's also great about these is because you don't want to overcook them. You don't want to boil them at all. Like they're gonna get cooked in the casserole itself. So you just take them straight from the freezer and bloop, they'll defrost on their own. They're gonna be great. I have our mushroom sauce that I have let set up in the fridge. Now you could use this like hot, but I let it set up in the fridge because I have a life to lead and was doing other things. So gloopy. And then you just mix the whole thing together. And I know that this looks like really thick right now, but that's because everything is really cold and it gets like much looser when it's hot. This is definitely one of those like ugly delicious things. Casserole pan, I'm not even gonna butter it, you don't really need to. Also, this casserole pan is quite big. I definitely could be using a slightly smaller one, but I'm already using my 2 smaller casserole pans for both scalloped potatoes and my dad's famous stuffing. So this is the one we're using for this video. Just shove it all in here. Nice, 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 nice. Make sure you get all of that sauce. Does it work in this casserole pan? Yes, but it's like a little bit on the shallow side. I could probably get like double the amount in here. And then we take our breadcrumbs. This is also not super traditional, by the way, to put breadcrumbs on top, but I really like it. You also don't have to use this much breadcrumb topping, but again, I love it. I'm really doing me right now. You do you, I do me. Kind of pat it on there. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Into the oven this goes until the breadcrumbs are browned and the whole thing is hot and bubbling. Look how beautiful it is. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is like my favorite. This is probably, is it my favorite? I think it's my favorite. I think it's my favorite thing that I make for Thanksgiving, and I only ever eat it at Thanksgiving. So I wait all year just for this, and it looks so beautiful. I'm so excited about it. This is gonna be so good. This has cooled down slightly, and now we can top with our crispy shallots, and you just like fling them over the top. Now you really, really do not want to put these on and then pop this in the oven. Like, this has to be done right before you're gonna serve it. Like, you cannot reheat with these on top because they will burn. Guess how I learned that? So nice. Oh. I know this is definitely like an ugly, delicious thing, but you gotta trust me on this one. So delicious. If you haven't had this before, or you heard about the canned goods version and you were like, ew, gross, you have to make the homemade version. It is so delicious. And actually, I shouldn't knock the canned version because I've never had it. Maybe it's delicious, I don't know. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a Funyun. So maybe I would love them, I don't know. But all I do know is that this is delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's video, then please like, comment, subscribe, and I hope that you have a great day and that I will see you around tomorrow. Hej då!